We'll just hi everyone. Thanks for joining this Not Sport Help for Heroes webinar. We're just waiting for a few more people who are just logging in at the moment before we kick off. So just give us a minute or so. But thanks everyone who has joined. We've already seen a few questions coming through, which is great. And we'll be coming to those later on. My colleague Mark Wood's taking those on another screen in the office. But in the run up to Christmas, I hope everyone's as prepared as you can be for what's probably going to be the strangest Christmas we've all had. But I'll just check to see if we're ready to kick off. Yeah, I think we're ready to go now. So I'm going to introduce myself. My name's Sean Patrick. I'm Chief Exec, Chairman of Not Sport. We do artificial sport servicing for hockey pitches, football pitches, playgrounds, that sort of thing. I'm joined by a very good friend of mine, Dean Williams from the Help for Heroes organisation. Not Sport have been working with Help for Heroes now for 5 years. One of our colleagues and my son Jack Patrick unfortunately passed away just over 5 years ago now, and as a company and friends and family, we decided that we'd create a bit of a legacy as to Jack's life and his passion for Help for Heroes. So it was quite fitting that we decided 5 years ago to start trying to raise money through the business, through various events, fundraising events, challenges. That's when I met Dean, and over the years we've raised a really good amount of money thanks to the local community here. I think we're up to about 120, 130,000 pounds now, which we're very proud of. And it's been a great legacy in Jack's memory. Jack was in the marketing department here and loved nothing more than he'd have been all over these webinars and everything at the moment. He'd have been setting them up. But Jack was always on about raising money, particularly for Help for Heroes as a company. So we've sort of carried on that legacy. The format is that I'm going to be asking Dean some questions. We're hoping to be joined by Barry Griffiths as well. Barry's part of the Help for Heroes cricket setup, and he'll talk about the benefits of that. But Dean and myself will kick off. So I'm going to hand over to Dean in a moment, but I'll be firing a few questions at him. So Dean, great to see you again, mate. I think we were saying that the last time we saw each other was Boxing Day last year. Seems an awfully long time ago when we were doing the annual Jack Patrick wheelie bin race from the Plough Inn in Bruntingthorpe, which is probably the craziest event we get involved with. But Dean, probably you can just tell the audience a little bit about yourself, what you were doing before Help for Heroes and the services, and also then how you got involved in Help for Heroes.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Good morning, everybody, and thanks for inviting me on this, Sean, and thank you for your continued support. Absolutely amazing. And like you say, you know, you've raised, my last count was £126,500 in memory of Jack for Help for Heroes. So absolutely astonishing amount. So yeah, my background, I've got military running through my blood. My dad was in the army. I joined up at 17. I joined the Royal Green Jackets, which is an infantry regiment. I did 10 years in the Royal Green Jackets, and then I transferred to the Army Physical Training Corps as a physical training instructor. And then once in the PT Corps, I specialised in rehabilitation. So you can see where all this is going now. So I was at Headley Court, did my training at Headley Court, and then stayed at Headley Court, which is the Defence Medical Rehabilitation Centre for the Tri-Services. I stayed there for a few years, helping to fix broken soldiers, sailors and airmen, and then moved around the UK and overseas in various rehabilitation roles in regional rehabilitation units and local rehabilitation units as well. My last role in the regular army was in a brigade headquarters in Tidworth. I deployed to Afghanistan there. So my role in Afghanistan was to do the final stage training before sending these guys and girls off to their frontline posts. So I was doing all the fitness and acclimatization training. And, you know, we took about 8,000 troops through this training and sent them off. I came back to the UK and retired from the regular army quite soon after that, and took up a full-time reservist role in Tedworth House, which is a Health for Heroes recovery centre. So the military worked from there as well. And I started to see a lot of these guys and girls that I'd done that final stage training with coming back through the recovery centre. And we didn't recognise each other originally or straight away because 8,000 troops went through, but we kind of put the pieces together and yeah, really brought to life everything that's going on. So I did about 3.5 years at Tedworth House, running all sorts of recovery programs, from, you know, taking people swimming, introducing them to sports, to doing educational visits and stuff like that. So yeah, about 3.5 years. So I did about 27.5 years in the army in total. I wanted to move to the Midlands. That's where all my family had settled down. And luckily enough, the guy that's doing my role, or that was doing my role, was retiring. So I applied for the role, interviewed, and I was selected for it. So I feel very honoured to be part of, you know, this whole organisation really. So, you know, joined up frontline infantry, did all the silly things infantry soldiers did all the training, physical training, rehabilitation, and now I'm raising funds to make sure that those guys and girls can get the support they need. So yeah, that's my story, and I've been doing this role now for about 6 years.
That's great, Dean. Dean, can you just give us a little bit of a brief history about Help for Heroes, how it started, how long it's been going? I think a lot of people know it as a big brand that is very recognisable. I mean, I'm constantly clad in Help for Heroes gear. It's very good, by the way. But could you probably give us a bit, because I think people don't realise that it's a fairly young charity still.
Yeah, we're 13 years old. So the charity started up in 2007 with a couple called Bryn and Emma Parry. And they had no big intentions to set up a charity. They just wanted to do some fundraising to help these guys and girls coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan. So they approached the government and General Dannett, who was the head of the armed forces at the time, and said, you know, what needs to be done? We don't want to replicate what other service charities are doing. Other service charities are doing great work. What can we do to make a difference? And it was a swimming pool at Headley Court. And I know when I worked at Headley Court, we used to take the guys and girls down to the local pool. Some of them didn't like to go because they weren't ready for that level of exposure. Some of the local public didn't like to see us in there. So a swimming pool at Headley Court would have been fantastic. So that's what they did. They went out and they tried to raise some money for this swimming pool. The great British public got behind them very quickly, and they raised a lot of money. And they actually ended up making a swimming pool complex, a gymnasium rehabilitation complex as well. So absolutely fantastic. And then they were kind of forced into setting up a charity because they had this money. They couldn't pass it on to other service charities because it had been donated to them. So they said, well, we'll help heroes. So they set up this charity, named it Help for Heroes. And again, they spoke to the military and said, we don't want to replicate what other charities are doing. What can we do that's different? What's missing? And it was always the recovery piece. What do people do in between their rehabilitation? What do they do for the rest of their lives? So Help for Heroes said, okay, we'll set up a network of recovery centres around the UK, and we'll do recovery. And so that's what they did. 2016, they stood down and Mel Waters took over. She was the CEO of the Poppy Factory. So we kind of robbed her from the Poppy Factory, and she's now our amazing CEO to take the charity forwards. So she's been with us for 4 years. The swimming pool and, well, the whole of the Headley Court project closed down, and it moved to Stamford Hall just outside Loughborough, so pretty much on our doorstep. And the amazing thing is that the gymnasium and the swimming pool complex was replicated at Stamford Hall with no extra cost to Health for Heroes. So the Health for Heroes rehabilitation swimming pool complex is still there, which is brilliant. So that's where the charity came from.
And quite interesting, really, because you know that you've got very clear aims as a charity, haven't you? About who you're going to help, and perhaps you can just go into that a little bit. Sure. There is a bit of a mission statement, isn't there, around that?
Yeah. So we help anybody that's been wounded, injured, or become sick as a result of service. So that could be at any time in their life. They can come to us, you know, with any support requirements they need. So it could be physical, psychological, welfare, or financial support. And to date, we've supported directly about 26,500 veterans, serving personnel and their families, and probably tens of thousands more through grant giving to other charities and organisations. But we can't keep tabs of all that. So directly, about 26,500 people supported. This year alone, over 3,000 people we've supported. We've had over 2,000 new cases coming forward for support this year alone. So yeah, that's our charitable aims. And we provide the support through many avenues. That could be grant giving. So example, between April and September this year, we've given about £180,000 in grants to individuals. So that could be for emergency food, paying debts. It could be for specialist equipment, house adaptations, all that sort of stuff. Could be to fund educational courses. We offer fellowship. So that's through our Band of Brothers and Band of Sisters program. So that's a listening ear and community fellowship. So people can come together and share experiences. You know, these people serve together, they should recover together and help each other as well. So we offer that fellowship. And again, this year we've offered 68 different get-togethers. Unfortunately, most of them have been over, you know, virtual means. But we've got 13,000 members of our Band of Brothers and Band of Sisters now. And we've even got our own choir, which is amazing. And they meet up on a regular basis and sing virtually. So we have our recovery centres, which I mentioned, and we built up a network of recovery centres. And again, unfortunately, this pandemic has had a bit of a hit on our recovery centres and our funds. So we've decided to no longer work from 3 of them. The military are still working from them. So we're going to concentrate, when we're allowed and when it's safe to do so, reopening Tedworth House, which is a beautiful recovery centre, which you visited, Sean, down in Griffiths, just outside Salisbury. So we're going to concentrate all our sort of recovery activities from Tedworth House and our Wales recovery office. But we're also doing more in the community now. And we started doing this before all this horrible stuff started happening. And this pandemic has just accelerated the need for it. So we've developed a community recovery project. So we go, rather than just staying in our recovery centres, we're going out to where the need is. And we're meeting people in the community. So we're setting up clinics, if you like, in local leisure centres. Mainly leisure centres, community centres, where people can come in, speak to our welfare teams, and engage in recovery activities. So, you know, they can do sports in the leisure centre. Like I say, they can speak to the welfare team or just come in for a tea and a coffee and a chat and see how they're getting on in their recovery pathway. We also set up our world-class leading recovery college, which is the very first of its kind set up for wounded veterans. So this is a program, and again, unfortunately, a lot of it has gone on to online, but we can deliver it from our recovery centres. But these are activities like, we can deliver sleep hygiene, healthy eating, managing anxiety, to goal setting, and this is a program that's designed to help people feel secure, healthy, and live fulfilling lives, essentially. And then identify ambitions, gain confidence, and knowledge, and the understanding required to put those ambitions in place. So it's an absolutely brilliant project, like I say, first of its kind. And the other thing we do is champion the wounded. So we go to the government and we say, this is what our veterans need. So we're a voice for our veterans, essentially. So things that we've done is we were campaigning for an Office of Veterans Affairs, and that's now in place, which is absolutely brilliant. And through our 40,000 strong campaign, which we did last year, we're campaigning to improve the medical discharge process, and making sure that people get a longer follow-up process after being medical discharged. So that's just a few of the ways that we help our guys and girls. So you can see lots going on, and yeah, we promise these guys and girls support for life, and we want to make sure that we're there to give them support.
Yeah, I think this year has obviously a year like no other year, Dean. And as an organisation, not sport, we've sort of, at the beginning of the year, we have our dates when we're doing charity events for Help for Heroes, and it's been such a shame this year that we've not been able to do our bit, and we feel like a lot of other companies who are working for all sorts of fabulous charities, and trying to put some time aside and some effort aside, we feel sort of guilty in a way that we've not really been able to help. It's been a tough year for a lot of business, and I know that's going to have been reflected in the amount of money that's being raised. It must have had an incredible effect on the charity's finances, hence people being made redundant and places closing. And I know from other charities that I'm involved with, and that it's the same story everywhere. But the trouble is that the needs are still there, aren't they? That's the people. There is still the requirement for the support.
Yeah, there is, and the furlough scheme was a lifesaver for us. 70% of the charity were furloughed for 7 months, I being one of them. But we saw an increase in people coming forward for support. So 30 to 33% increase in people coming forward for support, with a massively reduced staff base. So the support is still required. We haven't seen our finances this year. Our financial year is just finished, so we're waiting for those to come in. But we're expecting to be about 30% down on our income, and that will probably continue whilst we're in a recession, to be fair. So we've had to make some drastic measures, some cost-cutting measures. So we've made 90 members of staff redundant. Then the rest of us that are left behind got to share that workload. So tough times for everybody in the whole world, I think. And us at Help for Heroes are no different. We're feeling that pinch. And so people out there like yourself, Sean, is really encouraging for the charity to know that you're still there. You still want to support us, and make sure, like I said before, we can keep that promise of support for life.
Yeah, I think when I first got involved with the charity and met yourself and everything, I think probably like a lot of people, we all thought, well, this is a great cause. We'd done a bit of stuff before, and Jack had organised and that sort of thing. But a lot of it was all about, well, physical injuries, people losing limbs in Afghanistan and that sort of thing. But having met you and met so many recipients and beneficiaries of the charity, and people on their different stages of their journey, what came across to me fairly quickly was the mental health aspect. And that's the bit that I can imagine is just increasing massively at the moment. The requirement for support on that, with people being locked in, shielding, not able to go and see support centres and that. And you know, I'm involved. You know, I've become friends with so many people now over the last year, and I know how many are going through really tough times with that.
Yeah, and you know, you talk to the guys and girls, and those with the physical injuries will say, you know, I'm glad. You know, those that can't remember anything from their injury, from their accident or their wounds, say, you know, I'm glad, because you know they see these people with mental health issues, and it can be more debilitating actually than a physical injury. And we've done a lot of work with other charities and organisations to try and break down that stigma of coming forward for support, and that really has worked. And like I say, we've seen an increase in people coming forward for support because of that. So we're raising awareness of these issues, we're breaking down those barriers. So yeah, like I said before, 30% of those coming forward for support. We've seen an increase of 30% of people coming forward for support to access our mental health activities and support compared to last year. So yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, it's I mean, we one of the things we've been very much involved with, as you know, is for people watching this at home or wherever in their offices, we got involved with Lutterworth Cricket Club, who where Jack used to play cricket. They contacted us a few months after he passed away and said they'd like to do a charity event for Help for Heroes. And it's grown into a really big event. It's become very much a community event. And one of the key things is, is that Help for Heroes bring a cricket team that's part of one of the sports recovery programs. And what I've seen is over, I think, the 5 years or 4 or 5 years we've run the event, I think this would have been the 6th year, I can't remember now, but is watching these people gain confidence from doing something like playing cricket, and getting out and about and not look at the four walls in their flat and scared to come out, and the confidence that these guys have developed. And I know they play cricket matches. I'm a member of the cricket club now, not that they've actually let me open the batting yet, but maybe this year. But I've seen huge benefits of these guys. So it's not just about the money we raise. I mean, the money's great, obviously, and we know that, but it's also about the awareness. So with that event, as you know, Dean, we try and engage the whole Lutterworth community. The cricket club were amazing. They put everything on for us. We get support from England's Barmy Army, support it. From the cricket side, they're the fans group. And it's become a really good event. But what I like about it is the awareness it brings. The townsfolk of Lutterworth now certainly know about Help for Heroes, whereas they might not have known before. We make it a real family event. We've got a couple of the hotels in the Shambles and the Greyhound put the players up for nothing. Everyone in the town wants to support it. As I say, the cricket club are amazing, and I think they're the sort of events that I really enjoy getting involved with, because you're hitting so many different levels. You're hitting first of all, the players who play for Help for Heroes get a good day out. They get a game of cricket, which is their passion. The town people get to hear about Help for Heroes. All my colleagues that not sport, they love the day. They take the day off work and they run the event. The cricket club love it. It's their favourite day of the year. And I think if, we'll talk a little bit about what companies can do in a moment, but I think that's the sort of event that I think is just hits so many different levels. And I know you always look forward to it as well, Dean. It's a good day out.
Brilliant day out.
Yeah. So talking about companies, I mean, we got involved. I think originally it was called. We said, well, we'll make it our charity for a year. That's never going to stop. Well, I'm here anyway, and I think while any of Jack's colleagues are here, but companies can get involved, can't they? Doesn't cost anything. You just have to help, basically. Perhaps you can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. And that's part of my role essentially. So I'm the area fundraising manager. So I deal with community fundraising essentially. So if people want to get into big partnerships and start using branding on their products and all that sort of stuff, then that's a whole different ball game. But if you just want to do community fundraising like you do, Sean, then yeah, that's my role. So if companies want to nominate us for their charity of the year or charity of the years, then that's fantastic. And I know some companies select a couple of charities. And so I'm here really as your account manager, if you like, to help you and guide you and support you and offer advice. Because sometimes it can be a bit of a minefield, a legal minefield when companies want to fundraise for charities. So I'm here to keep you on the straight and narrow, make sure you're contributing to a pure donation rather than business donations. So yeah, I can support companies with those fundraising ideas. I can do talks, presentations. We can get people along like Barry, for example, some of our other beneficiaries, and talk about how the charity has supported them. So yeah, and it's just a great thing to do. You get loads of team building stuff out of it. It's a great opportunity for the staff to get together and do something fun and not think about work. It can meet some of your CSR objectives as well. So yeah, it puts the fun in fundraising essentially, doesn't it? And especially in the workplace.
Yeah.
And like I say, yeah, it doesn't cost anything. There's no legal requirements or anything like that. It's just getting together, having a bit of fun, and raising a bit of money for charity.
Yeah, I mean, from our point of view, I mean, it's a secondary thing really, but actually it's such a great brand to be involved with as well. I'm sure it helps us business-wise. We get a lot of customers and contractors that we work with and suppliers all buy into it as well. They like the fact that we're involved with Help for Heroes. It's a charity that people really want to get behind, and I think they're grateful for the opportunity to do that. So, for instance, I'm thinking of the golf day we run, which is not a community day necessarily. It's a community in our sports industry, our sports servicing industry, and people come from all over the country to play golf. The Help for Heroes put a golf team in. We've done it for 3 years now, I think, and it's a really successful day. And that's what I've found is that people that I'm in business with, friends that I've known for years, really want to support us as well, and they like the fact that it's a day where every penny raised goes to the charity. We have an auction. We all end up with football shirts that we don't really want, but that's the whole fun of it. And we have a lot of banter, and it's a great day for the industry to get together. We go for a few beers afterwards, and it's just a really, really good fun thing to be involved with. And it's great, from a selfish point of view, it's great from our point of view because it raises our profile as well within the industry and with our customers and everything. I'm talking about sport. I've just had a question through from Steve Goodall in Dorset. I know Steve. Hi, Steve. Thanks for your question. What specific programs connected to sport are there? Well, I've mentioned cricket, but I've seen a few other things, Dean. So you could probably just tell some of the, being in the sports industry, we're always keen to get involved in any of these things. But so Steve's wondering what specific programs are there?
Yeah, sport is an amazing tool for recovery. It offers so much. And it's important that we offer that to our beneficiaries, because a lot of people join the military for the sporting opportunities. You can go and represent your regiment all over the world, and then when you get wounded, injured, or become sick, you still want to continue doing something, but you're not quite sure what. So we've got quite a few different levels, if you like, of opportunities. One of our big higher profile ones is the Invictus Games. So if nobody's ever heard of the Invictus Games, where have you been living?
Yeah.
So this is something that Prince Harry invented, and he gets loads of different countries together, gets the armed forces from all these different countries together to engage in sport and to compete. And that competitive element is brilliant, but it's not always about that competitive element, about all the other benefits you get from being with other people, engaging in sport, and it's amazing how much it can boost your confidence and push you beyond your boundaries without even thinking about it sometimes. So the Invictus Games is brilliant. And to take it up from a level from Invictus Games, we've also got a Paralympic inspirational program. So if people want to go on and represent their country once again, but at sport, then, you know, we've got that inspirational program there as well. So that's brilliant. But it works at lots of different levels as well below that. So, you know, whether it's recreational, just doing home workouts, coaching, anything like that. So if somebody wants to be a wheelchair basketball coach, we can help with that. And that's one of the projects I used to run at Tedworth House. I used to run wheelchair basketball coach courses. That can go along and become a coach. You don't have to even be a wheelchair user. But that recreational level is just massively important as well. So getting people out in their own communities, away from the recovery centre, away from, you know, Health for Heroes as such, and integrating into their own communities and getting involved in sport is brilliant. And we can help with that, whether it's an introduction to a local sports club, whether it's helping them with equipment if they need it, and grants. So sport is there at every single level. And just give you an idea of some of the sports that we engage in. You know, the list goes on from, you know, we've mentioned cricket and golf already, and we've got our own teams for those. Cycling, all sorts of levels, whether it's disability cycling with hand bikes, recumbent bikes, adapted bikes, tandems, or just getting on a normal bike and racing. Athletics, rowing, out on the water or indoor, sitting volleyball, which is a Paralympic sport, all the wheelchair sports we spoke about, so rugby, basketball, tennis, swimming, archery, powerlifting, you know, it's all there. You know, the choice is massively varied. And sometimes people don't know what they like to do, don't know what they're able to do. And so again, one of the programs I used to run while I was at Tedworth House, and it's actually continuing again when it's safe to do so, is introducing people to sport and just going to do it for an hour. And they might find after 5 minutes they can't do it or they don't like it. And they might find that it's their new passion. And it might be climbing, it might be swimming, it might be sitting volleyball, it might be horse and carriage driving. You just don't know. You know, we just offer hundreds and hundreds of different opportunities at that level.
That's brilliant.
So, yeah, sport is huge.
Yeah, it's and that's great from our point. I've just heard that I think Barry's ready to join us. Barry Griffiths, you there, Barry?
He's been here from the start. Yeah.
Oh, thanks very much for noticing me, Sean.
Sorry,
Good
Barry.
morning, everybody.
I've had a few technology issues this morning. Oh, you've got the jacket on. I was going to wear mine. Hi,
I've never not got the jacket on.
Hi, everyone. Can I just introduce another very good friend of mine, Barry Griffiths, who runs the Help for Heroes cricket team. We're just great time to bring you in because we've met through the cricket club. I'm very honoured to be an honorary member, as you know. And following on from what Dean said, perhaps, and Dean's talked about the different sports and the benefits, but if you could just focus on the cricket, it's such a big thing that we get involved with, and we love to be involved. And perhaps you could just talk a little bit, Barry, about how you got involved with it. Maybe just give a little synopsis of your history and how you get involved with it, and some of the benefits that I've seen, but you've seen obviously through the guys who've played cricket and who continue to play, and the success of the program.
Of course, Sean. First of all, thank you very much indeed for inviting me. It's a real privilege to be associated with yourself, your family, and all your colleagues and various partners. I've been a beneficiary of Help for Heroes for about 7 years. Prior to that, I'd served for 34 years in the Royal Air Force, in the Royal Air Force Regiment. I got a severe spinal cord injury, which saw me going to Headley Court. I had 4 admissions to Headley Court that Dean referred to earlier. And whilst the physical rehabilitation was absolutely fantastic, second to none, one of the challenges, and Dean's already alluded to, is the mental health aspects. And of course, nothing is straightforward. And although I was pretty much on top of the physical limitations, because my particular issues meant that I'd lost all functionality from the waist down, which, when you consider that, you know, I'd spent so long sort of, you know, living this life in the military, you know, very much a man's man, sport, you know, leader of men type thing, and to suddenly be laid low and not be able to do the things that you used to be able to do, and how you saw yourself and how you're defined, became very, very difficult. And so when I got introduced to Help for Heroes, I'd been under a military psychiatrist for, you know, that particular phase for about 4 years, doing some fairly intensive stuff with, you know, some excellent services, support services in the military. But I probably wasn't really getting anywhere. I was getting the very best of treatment that was available. It really, really didn't do it for me. And then I got introduced. My psychiatrist said, "Oh, I've got just a place for you, Help for Heroes." So I went along to Tedworth House, and when I went there, I wasn't happy with life. I really didn't see where I was going. I was still in the military that stage, but clearly my career was over. I had really poor self-esteem. Everything that I thought I represented had gone. I felt I'd let everybody down. All of the characteristics and symptoms that people, I'm sure on the call, will recognize. The fact that, you know, you're in the military doesn't necessarily sort of preclude you from that. And in many respects, it makes it more difficult because of how you see yourself. And although things have got a lot better over the years, you know, back in those days, even 7 years ago, there was still a stigma. So I went along to Headley Court, to Tedworth House, and in fact, Dean was running the course that I was on. So Dean and I go a long way back, and I was really at my lowest. And, you know, what Dean described as, you know, effectively doing stuff was what we did at Tedworth House. And one of the things that you find when you're injured, you've got psychological, mental health issues as well, as you tend to isolate yourself. So by getting involved with Help for Heroes, it kind of brought you back with like-minded people, and all of a sudden, you know, you're stuck at home. You're no longer part of the military family, much as they try. You know, you're like the wheezy boy on the sidelines, which stood with matron, because you can't play the sports anymore. And that's a tough place to be. And getting involved with Help for Heroes, guys like Dean, some wonderful people around that understood us. Peer support is a massive issue as well, because we're all there. You know, we're opening up, we're sort of getting together, we're bantering. Being a former member of the RAF regiment meant I got my fair share of banter, and continue to do so. And that strangely is, you know, is kind of what you miss. And that's kind of very much a British military way. You know, the Americans always laugh about that, about how we abuse each other. But it's those little things like that all go toward your recovery, in effect. And it's doing stuff like Dean described. I mean, one day there's a great guy there, Alan McClelland, who again is, in fact, he's just left the region. He was covering Band of Brothers for the Midlands there, said to me, you know, we're having a knockabout on the cricket pitch. Do you fancy it? It was a Thursday night. And I said, well, I haven't played cricket for 30 years. And he said, well, you know, come on. I said, no, you're all right. You know, I didn't really want to do it. So anyway, we went up there, and, you know, I kind of got that zest back. You know, we just kind of got together. There was quite a lot of staff in those days that were playing, because there weren't too many of us wounded, injured, and sick guys. And then gradually things built up. Alan arranged a few local games for us. And again, there was a lot of staff that were playing in those days. We played against British Airways. They had a pilots team there, Northants Disability, these sorts of clubs. And we basically began to grow and get a following. And the coaches had a real vision in those days, because cricket is it's a wonderful sport, because you have all the benefits of sport. It's adaptable. It enables you to utilize all different capabilities, but more importantly than that, and the thing that we've begun to see over the 5 and 6 years since then, is it's that community base that you spoke about. And that really is the key to what it is that we do. It's being part of a team, being part of a team with an identity again. You know, the Blazers are a major part of that. It's being with like-minded people. It's looking forward to going somewhere. It's going along to places like Lutterworth. And again, that particular fixture that you started 5-6 years ago, I can't tell you how important that fixture is to us all. That has become a major highlight of the year. And you know, we've spoken about the wonderful money and the funds that you've raised, but I think I'm probably, without fear of contradiction, you know, speaking on behalf of the guys, what they get from that particular fixture is the friendship, it's the love and the support of the community. It's people that are interested in them, because, you know, as I described, you know, with my own feelings fairly early on, when you're injured like that and you can no longer do it, you lose sight of who you are and what you are and your sense of worth. You think your family will be better off without you. You know, all these sorts of very strong feelings. Then all of a sudden, people are interested in you. And the other thing about it is that to be associated with Help for Heroes sort of brings people in. But then people, they hear the stories. And one of the things that, you know, I love to see, it's the growth in the guys. We've had about 100 people come through, various beneficiaries come through. And that includes wives and girlfriends and families as well. It's just to see the growth, both physically. We've had people that just thought they'd come along because they do some scoring. They get the confidence to participate. They start playing. They come along to places like Lutterworth. They get involved. They get swept up. They, you know, and all of a sudden that sort of banter, that great fun, that acceptance, that belonging to something, representing, being proud of being associated with Help for Heroes. Meeting guys like yourselves that actually care enough not only to raise money, but to come and have a drink with the lads, have a bit of banter, listen to their stories, because, you know, and all of a sudden, you know, we feel important. We feel that people care about us, and that is priceless. And that's one of the major things we get, particularly from Lutterworth, but also with the cricket. And, you know, again, a measure of you know, how much of an impact that has on us is that, you know, the only member of the Help for Heroes Cricket Club that we have that has the honour to have a blazer is Sean. You know, that's such a highly prized, tight-knit group that we have. And for us to get everything that we've got from you, your family, your colleagues, that particular day just means so much to us. And, you know, for us not to have had that last year was a massive blow. And, you know, I've seen the effect that it's had on the guys. We had a couple of matches at the tail end of last year, and I really did see how much they missed it. But it's a major part of the journey. The other thing that I'll say, if I'm not taking too much time here, is that
no, I love it. I love listening to you, Barry.
Yeah, you're part of a small and select group of one, I think. One of the challenges that we have, we talk about recovery and rehabilitation. There's a very clear distinction. Help for Heroes is very much into recovery. It's about people getting back into life. And one of the things that I've learnt the hard way, and I see on a daily basis with our guys, is that recovery is not a linear path upwards. You know, you suddenly recover, then you move on with life. I equate it to snakes and ladders. You know, you have good days and bad days. Your life's going well, then it's not. And one of the consistencies that we have is the cricket team. And, you know, we've had people that joined us many years ago. They've kind of moved on with their life. And, you know, success in recovery looks like a lot of things. It could be relationships, getting jobs, having babies, you know, whatever it is, moving on in life. And we've seen so many of these success stories, and each case is individual. The measure of success for each individual is different. And to be perfectly honest, none of that is to do with winning cricket matches. It's everything to do with moving on. The peer support that I spoke about, you know, I see guys, you know, they'll come along at the beginning of training or beginning of a match, and you'll see that, you know, life's not going well for them. They may tell us it is, they may tell us that it's not. Maybe the same with the families, but you can see, you know, they're very much part of the family. And there's a number of the guys that talk about family, and the cricket team being part of the family. Help for Heroes is part of the family. You're part of that family, and that whole community of support. And I've given up trying to define it now, because it just is. It just works. And a measure of that is the number of people that we come back, that come back because they feel they need it. A number of people that continue with us. You know, what does success look? It used to look like people going off and joining local cricket clubs, and we get a lot of that. You know, people getting jobs and moving on. That's fantastic. But actually, the number of people that stay and continue to play because they just love being part of something. And it's not a dependency. It's about being there to support. Because the other thing about it is we all support each other. You know, you're very much part of that because, as you say, you know, we've become mates now. This is, you know, it's personal for you. And all of a sudden, that the Help for Heroes sort of corporate brand that may have existed before, all of a sudden becomes, you know, a bunch of guys that have been supported by Help for Heroes that all in their own way are ambassadors for the charity, that have got stories of hardship and success, but moving on in their life against, you know, all hardships, all enabled by Help for Heroes. And the thing about, you know, military guys is, you know, they're not polished, you know, they don't bullshit, they tell it how it is. And if they wouldn't be there, they wouldn't come along if they genuinely didn't feel that it made a massive difference to their lives. And what Help for Heroes does and what you guys do in supporting us, you know, changes lives. You know, I don't like to talk about specific cases, but, you know, we've had some people in some very, very dark places. Yeah. You know, and the cricket team, Help for Heroes, has been there. It doesn't matter what it is, it just does, and it just works. And, you know, I've given up trying to figure out now how it works, and we just do. And the guys support each other. You know, and again, some of that support might sound pretty horrendous from the outside because it's that banter again. But sometimes, you know, it's just what you need to feel that you're back in the bosom of your family, and that's the magic of Help Heroes and the magic of cricket. And the beauty about cricket, it being community based, it enables us to do that, to get to know people. In most of the matches, we try and discourage the guys from having a drink while we're playing.
I don't really help with that, do I?
but actually at Lutterworth it really works, you know.
Yeah.
And actually that helps that whole process. And it's not so much a day of cricket, it's a day of being accepted, being with family and friends, being part of a wonderful community, and, you know, having an absolutely fantastic time. And, you know, it comes to something when you're having the auctions, and it's our guys that are actually bidding for the auctions, and you say, hang on a minute, you're supposed to be the beneficiaries, not the purchasers. But that's what that day has done. That is what the guys will do. That's how much it means to them, and it's a very special relationship that we have.
Yeah, I think last year was brilliant when the captain of the Not Sport cricket team, Alex, and Mike got together and said we'll join teams because the two Lutterworth teams were smashing everybody, and that was brilliant. That the confidence was there for them to get together and say, actually, we're now encouraging a bit of interaction with another team and to join. And it's that whole. I read a lot of books of ex-cricketers, and the struggles are always about missing the dressing room after. You know, that's the big thing. It's the camaraderie and everything. And I've seen that spreading at the Lutterworth game. The sort of unofficial group of friends has now got it's just developed so brilliantly.
What you've described there is a description of why it's so special, because again, you can imagine when guys come along, you know, anyone joining a cricket club or any sort of club, it's quite a daunting prospect. If you're wounded, injured and sick, you're down on yourself as well. Even getting guys to come to a relatively safe environment, you know, as a Help for Heroes cricket team is tough. Then the next bit, and I remember when we first came there, and you know, when we first go to fixtures, getting the guys to mix is very, very difficult because they feel very safe. They feel very safe with their own. That's kind of why they do it. And actually, the integration with the community is the really tough part. So last year, when we mixed the teams, you cannot believe how much of a massive step forward that was, because all of a sudden the guys felt safe enough in your community with what it was that you're doing, you know, that they could be themselves in that environment. They would be accepted for what they were and how they are, you know, and that was, you know, I don't get many breathless moments these days, but that was absolutely one of them. But, you know, if ever I thought when the guys started the cricket 6 years ago that would be the result, I'd never have believed it. But you know, that is a measure of the magic that you've created there, and it's absolutely wonderful.
Oh. Well, I think that's, I mean, you know, we put the event together, and I think because of, you know, I work with some fantastic people at Not Sport. You know, they're very committed to not only to the company, to myself, to my family, but they really are committed to the Help for Heroes charity. They've got involved as well. You know, Matthew, for instance, has he did the big the Battlefield bike ride last year. Unfortunately, that was called off this year. And I think our staff here were as gutted as the people at Lutterworth Cricket Club and the guys in the cricket team were that the day was called off. I mean, we're just hoping. I think we're going to be okay next year. Recreational sports back on the agenda. Hopefully, we'll be able to have as big an event as we normally do, even bigger. But it's become part of the scene around here now. That, you know, it's, you know, a town like Lutterworth has, you know, various events. It's the Santa run next week. It's the, you know, they've not been able to have the switch on of the lights as normal and this sort of thing. But the cricket day is a big day for the town, and that didn't exist And I know people who said, we never ever got to visit the cricket ground. We thought it was all private. You know, we weren't allowed to. And it's brought people in the community together under the knowledge that they're doing a good thing, that they're helping out, and there's people I know who aren't even at Not Sport who become friends with some of the cricketers. I mean, from my own personal thing, I've actually been with one of the cricketers, Rob. You know, we bumped into each other on a flight to Australia, go and watch the Ashes. We've been to Sri Lanka together now. Met him at a test match, and it's just I feel part of a new community with a new group of friends who've helped me as well. You know, through, you know, my tough times, and you know, I've had a lot of benefits out of it as well. I'm just in awe of these guys, you know, and you know, we'll do anything, you know, to continue to support wherever we can do. Tough year this year for everyone, Barry. But Dean, are you still on?
I'm here. Listening to you two.
I can only see one person on the screen, but Dean, you've always supported, obviously, the cricket day and everything. And I guess you've seen the way that the cricket day has grown and become a fantastic event. I have friends who make it part of their annual holiday. They come up, Mark and Ange from Surrey, come and book into the Greyhound for a few days, and I mean, come and stay in Little Leicestershire, and the cricket day is a big day for them, you know, and the night out afterwards and everything.
It's the same as all your events, Sean. They're all that step up. They're just phenomenal. You know, the cricket, the golf, dinners, fire walking. You know, you've just always got to take it to that next level, which makes it all that more special. But you know, something I'd like to get across is, you know, if people think, well, you know, Not Sport and Sean and his family do so much and take it to that next level. You know, it doesn't have to be, you know, like that. You know, you can do all sorts of stuff. We've got, you all mentioned, you know, the big Battlefield bike ride that Matthew did last year. Is he doing it again next year?
Yes, he is. Yeah, I'm hoping Andy Earnshaw's going to do it this time. He signed up, but realised he wasn't fit enough and pulled out. But I think he's probably watching this at the moment. So Andy,
I'll be joining them next year.
Yeah. You're doing it on the penny farthing, aren't you?
I am. Yeah. So I've got my penny farthing all warmed up. Been smashing out the miles on that. So yeah, I look forward to joining them on that. Yeah. But yeah, there's lots of other fundraising opportunities people can get involved in. You know, we've got lots of different organised challenges and events on the website, like the big Battlefield bike ride. There's runs, there's walks, you know, or you can do your own DIY event, you know. And again, some of your family have done that. They've, you know, done skydives, you know, sails. If you want to set your own sort of walking challenge, we've got a package ready to go. It's called Step to It. Sounds quite military, I guess. So you set your own walking challenge and get people to sponsor you doing that. We've even come to the modern world now and got our own gaming platform, if you like, called Hero Up.
All right.
I confess to understand 100% how it works.
I don't think I'll be the person to be promoting that.
But apparently people play games online and other people donate to them whilst they're playing. So absolutely amazing. So there's one there for the gamers. You know, we've got our online shop where you can buy your nice hoodies and socks and pajamas, all that sort of stuff. I bet you got your pajama bottoms on, haven't you, Sean?
Yeah, always, always. Well, it's a bit more relaxed now during lockdown with the dress code at the office. So, I can. I've got. In fact, underneath this desk, it's just Help for Heroes Speedos, I'm afraid. So,
brilliant. Thanks for that.
Just let you hold that thought there.
But you know, if you don't want to buy Help for Heroes stuff, you can go on Amazon Smile. And I don't know if people have heard of that, and you can donate to charity whilst you buy Amazon Smile. So I bought all my Secret Santa stuff this year. We have a family Secret Santa stuff rather than everybody buying for everybody. And so I bought all my Secret Santa stuff on Amazon Smile. If you've got loads of stuff knocking about the house and you want to get rid of it, you can sell it all on eBay. And there's a program called eBay for Charity. And so it all just gets donated to the charity of your choice. And like I say, you know, you can do your own cake sales or sponsored walks or runs, or, you know, you can do knitting, whatever you like. You know, there's a whole raft of stuff there that people can do. And we've got some Christmas fundraising ideas for people to do as well, which is brilliant.
Yeah, one of the things I've found is, and it does help on the basis that, you know, I do enjoy going to a pub, is that if you can get a local venue like the Plough in Bruntingthorpe, who've been amazing, and basically let us hold whatever events we want there. I think in fact, it was not long before lockdown, we had a band on at the Plough. Technically, the Plough should hold about 50 people. It's not a very big pub. I think we had 280 people turn up. So it was actually had a mosh pit and everything, and we passed the bucket round and raised a few £100 that night. And partly awareness, but everyone has a great night, and you know, they'll put quizzes on for us. We'll do whatever we want, really. It culminates in, unfortunately, it can't happen this year. Though if I did go in for it, Dean, I'd probably win it because I'd be the only participant. Is the Plough wheelie bin race, where don't think there's too much on the health and safety. It's not an official Help for Heroes event, let's put it that way, because but a load of loonies pull a wheelie bin with a colleague around the village of Bruntingthorpe. They have a pint at the other end, leg it back, and there's world records set and all that. And that generally brings about 250, 300 people onto the streets and into the pub. The pub obviously does well, they're packed. And we pass the bucket around of that. You usually get a few £100, but it's the awareness that I like, is that people, and for weeks afterwards, people are coming up and giving me money and saying, oh, well, I couldn't make Boxing Day, here's a tenner, and that sort of thing. You know, I think if my advice to any companies who are watching this, any individuals, make the events fun. You know, get people to think this, you know, Barry, you probably get a lot as well, and you do, Dean. There's a lot of events you get invited to, which are a bit dull, you know, and you know, and you think, well, what's the benefit really? But if you can make the event fun, and you know, there's a few drinks and there's music and whatever, and people are enjoying themselves, both the participants and the people watching and all that. I just find that they go, say, you know, a fun event raises so much more money, and it's just brilliant to do. It's just brilliant to do, and we love being involved. I think our golf day is we have so many non-golfers playing in it, who just come along because they enjoy hacking around. They know they're not under any pressure, and then the bit they come for is the camaraderie in the evening, where we all get together for a few drinks and share stories of the day and that sort of thing. I'm no golfer, so I don't even play, but I might actually have a go next year just so that someone else isn't the worst one, you know. But I'm just seeing, we've got one of the just one of the questions come through from Graham Reed, a friend of mine. Graham wants to know when do you think the challenges will be starting up again? I think Graham wants to do the walk in Cambodia. I think that's which I did. Graham's been on a big weight loss thing at the moment. I know he's now looking for a big challenge. So don't know if there's any plans yet. I've not seen anything yet.
No, not seen anything yet. So but they'll be advertised on our website. We've got a calendars and events page on the website. There's a whole raft of stuff on there already. You know, whether you're racing across, you know, the South Downs or whatever. So coastal walks and all sorts. But yeah, each year we usually have a big thing like Cambodia or Kilimanjaro or something like that. Or the Great Wall of China, I think we did one year. So there's always a big event coming up. So keep an eye out on the website.
Yeah, I did the Cambodia one, and I didn't think I'd complete it. It was absolutely brilliant. It was great fun, and I did okay. But the thing I really enjoyed was meeting all the guys on it, some of the beneficiaries who got places on it, and the wives of people who'd been struggling and that sort of thing. And that was the inspiration. It just gave us another kickstart onto trying to do more fundraising and everything. And I think the way Help for Heroes with the partners organise these events are absolutely brilliant, you know. And again, you know, doing a challenge is just something that makes you feel good as well personally.
Yeah, I think that's one of the special things about the events that we organise. You know, these big ones, and the Battlefield Bike Ride's the same. We always try and get some of the beneficiaries on there, or their families. And, you know, they benefit from it, same as the cricket team benefit from going to play cricket. And the fundraisers enjoy it as well, because they're doing the activity, they're riding, they're walking alongside the people they're fundraising for, and they're egging each other on and sharing stories. So it just makes it a very unique and special time. So, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. I think about our time is about up. Barry, is there anything you want to add before you go? Great that you're wearing your jacket as always.
No, I'd just like to personally, and on behalf of everybody at the Help for Heroes cricket team, Help for Heroes themselves, to thank you very much indeed, and for everyone that's associated with creating such a special day at Lutterworth. That's one part of what it is that we do, but it's a major part, and it goes such a long way to making the guys feel, you know, so special, so integrated, so accepted. And, you know, if anybody's in any doubt as to how effective what it is Help for Heroes does, then I would come along to the day at Lutterworth, come and meet the guys, you know, rather than me be like a cheap second-hand car salesman telling you how great it is. Come and speak to the guys, because they'll tell you the truth, and you'll get the real emotion and the real passion about, you know, how Help for Heroes has changed their lives, and you know, you supporting that ongoing, absolutely fantastic. And you know, if ever there was a need for the support that Help for Heroes give, now is it. You know, Dean's already described the increase in the demand for the services, and that's only going to get bigger as more and more people, you know, come forward with their injuries from, you know, conflicts in years gone by. So, you know, we may not appear to be fighting wars. We are. They're not quite as open and obvious and big as they were, but you know, there's never been a greater need for the support to Help for Heroes. There's never been a greater need to support people that have been wounded, injured and sick in the service of the country. It's a competitive time, and you know, we need you more than ever. So thank you for all that you do, and thank you for all that you will do. It really is appreciated. It really does make a huge difference.
Yeah, well, as I've said, we do it because we enjoy it and we're passionate about it, and it's just been such a bonus meeting you, Dean, and everyone through it, and all the guys in the cricket club. I know there's quite a few of them watching this at the moment. There's things flashing up on the screen. Just a quick message to them that you guys are so special to us at Not Sport. If you're watching this, you are part of our family here, and you know, I keep in touch with quite a few of you. Simon up in Yorkshire, and Mike and everyone, and Rob, Mal, our keyboard warrior on Facebook, who just keeps me amused all day long. But you guys are really special, and we're not just saying that. We just love having you up in Lutterworth. And when I can get a chance to come to, I've been to a couple of the other games as well. You know, we really enjoy it. So Barry, just on behalf of us, I know you'll be passing on your thanks as well to everyone in the team that have been watching. Dean, many thanks for your input as always. You've become a very special friend of mine over the years. I'm glad they kept you on at Help for Heroes, because that would have been a massive loss for the charity if you'd have left. Have you got anything else you want to add, Dean?
Yeah, I just want to say a few things, if that's all right. I've really enjoyed reading the comments in the chat as well. That's really heartwarming to read some of those comments. But I just want to say a huge thank you to you, Sean, your amazing, beautiful and generous family. I do so much for the charity. Thanks. All in the name of your son, Jack. Everybody at Not Sport, especially, you know, Mark setting this up and everything. And I know Kirsty does a lot of stuff in the background as well. So huge thanks to her. And of course, all of Jack's friends that do so much for him to keep his memory going as well, especially Ellis, who organises, you know, the football each year as well, which is a brilliant community event. And that, you know, that's just fantastic. Community coming together, having fun, having a great day, remembering a great friend and raising a bit of money for charity as well. So I think you're all brilliant. Thank you very much.
Great stuff. Thanks ever so much, Dean. Thanks ever so much, Barry. We're going to sign off. I just want to let everyone know that there will be a recording of this going out soon. If you can share it to, whether you send an email link or you put it on Facebook or on Twitter or whatever, we'd be really grateful, because the more people that see what Dean and Barry have got to say, it'll create more awareness in what has been an incredibly tough year for the charity. We're just hoping that everything will be back to normal 2021 at some point, and we can all crack on again and start doing what we're meant to be doing. So just on behalf of me, I'd just like to wish Barry, Dean, happy Christmas. Might see you online at some point before, but if not, have a great Christmas. See you in the new year. Fingers crossed we can all get together. And everyone else, have a great time, great Christmas, and looking forward to seeing everyone in the flesh next year. Cheers, guys.
Merry Christmas, Sean.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Cheers. Bye now.